Imagine the Earth as a big living system. One of the most important things that keeps our planet in balance is the carbon cycle. But what is the carbon cycle? Well, it's how carbon moves through the atmosphere, oceans, plants, and animals. Carbon is a chemical element that makes up life itself. From the air we breathe to the plants that grow, and even the food we eat, carbon is everywhere. Carbon dioxide, or CO2, is in the air around us. Plants take in this carbon dioxide during photosynthesis and use it to grow. Then, animals eat these plants and the carbon enters their bodies too.
Plants and animals are part of the carbon cycle. When plants grow, they absorb carbon dioxide from the air. Animals then eat the plants and in turn get the carbon. When animals breathe or even die, the carbon is released back into the air or soil. This helps maintain balance.
This excess carbon in the atmosphere is causing a big problem: climate change. Normally, the Earth's temperature stays within a certain range, thanks to the carbon dioxide in the air. But when we add too much carbon, it traps heat from the sun, making the planet warmer. This is called the greenhouse effect, and the more carbon we release, the stronger the greenhouse effect becomes. As the Earth warms, we see big changes. The ice caps in the Arctic and Antarctic are melting, causing sea levels to rise. Coastal cities are in danger of flooding. Many animals, like polar bears, are losing their homes. And weather is becoming more extreme. Hotter summers, stronger storms, and more unpredictable rain patterns.
So, this natural cycle has been working for a long time, until humans got involved. Over the last couple of 100 years, we've been burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas for energy. This releases huge amounts of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere, more than the Earth can handle. Cars, factories, and even cutting down trees are to add to the problem. The Earth's natural carbon cycle can't keep up with all this extra carbon. In cities, there are less vegetation and soil to store carbon. Plants and soils naturally capture carbon dioxide from the air, but in urban areas, this capacity is reduced. Less green space means less carbon is absorbed and stored.
But cities can be part of the solution too. By planting more trees, creating green spaces, and transitioning to renewable energy, we can reduce urban carbon emissions and help restore the balance of the carbon cycle. Urbanization is when more people move to cities, causing rapid growth in buildings, transportation, and energy use. As cities expand, they often rely on fossil fuels for energy, which increase carbon emissions and contribute to global warming. More buildings also lead to heat being trapped, creating urban heat leads. Urbanization is when more people move to cities, causing rapid growth in buildings, transportation, and energy use. As cities expand, they often rely on fossil fuels for energy, which increases carbon emissions and contributes to global warming. More buildings also lead to heat being trapped, creating urban heat islands. This raises temperatures and worsens climate change. To fight global warming, it's important to build cities in ways that use clean energy, reduce waste.
It also runs off to contributing to rising sea levels by disrupting the carbon cycle and accelerating climate change. As global temperatures rise, polar ice melts, causing oceans to swell and threaten coastal communities. To sum up, the carbon cycle is a fundamental process in our planet's ecosystem. Simply put, it is the way carbon moves between the atmosphere, oceans, soil, and living organisms. Trees are a critical part of this cycle. They absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere during photosynthesis and store it in their roots, stems, and leaves. This is how forests help regulate the amount of carbon in the air, keeping the Earth's climate stable. Although, as we face the challenges of deforestation, climate change, and rising sea levels, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But we must remember that we have the power to change the course of our future. The choices we make today will shape the world for future generations. The forests we protect, the carbon emissions we reduce, and the sustainable practices we adopt will determine the climate we leave behind. We cannot afford to be passive. Each of us can contribute, whether through supporting policies that protect the environment, taking more sustainable choices in our daily lives, or educating others about the importance of forests and the carbon cycle. In closing, deforestation is not just an environmental issue. It is a global crisis that affects every one of us. But through collective action, we can protect our planet and ensure a healthier, more sustainable future. The time to act is now. In addition to what has already been concerned, reducing climate change requires concerted efforts across all levels of society, from individuals to governments, to shift toward more sustainable practices and minimize harmful emissions. Here are some key actions we can take. Firstly, transmission to renewable energy. Switch to clean energy sources. The burning of fossil fuels for energy is one of the largest contributors to climate change. By adopting renewable energy sources like solar, wind, hydroelectric, and geothermal power, we can significantly reduce greenhouse gas emissions. You can also promote sustainable agriculture and food systems. Eat more plant-based foods. The production of meat and dairy is highly resource-intensive and contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, particularly methane. Shifting toward a plant-based diet can significantly lower your carbon footprint. You can also support sustainable farming practices and reduce food waste. Then finally, you have to protect and restore forests. But how would you do that? Firstly, promote the stop of deforestation. Forests play a critical role in absorbing CO2. Protecting existing forests, preventing illegal logging, and supporting policies that conserve natural habitats are essential. You can also plant trees, support sustainable forestry. In conclusion, the fight against climate change requires a comprehensive approach combining efforts from individuals, businesses, and governments. Every small action, as I already mentioned, contributes to a larger movement. By transitioning to clear energy, changing our consumption day by day patterns, protecting nature, and advocating for change indeed, we can help reduce the impacts of climate change and build a more sustainable future for the generations to come. That was it, and thank you for watching.